Tonight, we're live from the Vatican ahead of a historic concert hosted by Pope Leo. While back home, dangerous storms are pounding the Northeast right now. Streets completely submerged, people pushing their cars through knee-deep waters. Rescues right now across the region. In Wisconsin, entire neighborhoods devastated by that monster tornado. Wind snapping power lines, trees crashing down onto roads. Survivors now returning to homes reduced to rubble. A powerful earthquake rocking Japan. This huge explosion collapsing a shopping mall. Dozens now feared trapped inside. Rescuers racing to reach them. The close call over Atlanta's airport. 2 Delta flights dangerously close. You'll hear what one pilot said over the radio. President Trump's emotional tribute for Senator Lindsey Graham, and what happened behind closed doors today with the leaders of Israel and Ukraine. Life without parole the moment this school shooter was sentenced after courtroom testimony that gripped the nation. Thousands more evacuated in France as wildfires close in on new tourist spots. France's president calling it the country's biggest threat since World War II. New video of the last time a North Carolina mother was seen before vanishing in the Caribbean, what those final moments show. This home crushing a car on a highway, how it ended up on top while being trailered to a new location. Plus, from here at the Vatican, the Pope preparing for a first-of-its-kind concert for peace. And we take you to the countryside and inside the Pope's private garden used by pontiffs for centuries. Nightly News starts right now.
This is a special edition of NBC Nightly News. Reporting tonight from the Vatican, here is Tom Llamas.
And good evening. We are live from the Vatican tonight, St. Peter's Basilica right behind me, and we are here ahead of a historic concert for peace tomorrow, hosted by Pope Leo. I'll get a chance to speak with the first American Pope right after. We'll have much more on this in a moment. But we want to begin back at home tonight in the dangerous storms lashing the East Coast right now. In New Jersey, the water waist deep, making streets impassable, forcing some to push their stranded cars out of the floods. You see it right here. In parts of Pennsylvania, roads looking more like rivers, water rescues already underway. And the threat for tens of millions is just ramping up, even a tornado watch in the Northeast. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, this is all that's left in some places. Homes and businesses completely flattened in this Wisconsin town. Residents there losing everything. This after a tornado brought catastrophic 140-mile-per-hour winds. We now know the twister was on the ground for more than 20 minutes. You see it yanking power lines torn straight out of the ground and leaving more than 150,000 without electricity across Wisconsin and Illinois. Maggie Vespa is in the center of it all for us tonight, and she starts us off.
Tonight, punishing summer storms now pummeling tens of millions in the Northeast. Rainfall rates above 1.5 inches per hour in New Jersey. People pushing stalled out cars through floodwaters in Patterson. High water rescues underway in central Pennsylvania. First responders bringing people and their pets to safety. And tonight, we're learning about the power of that twister that tore through the Appleton, Wisconsin area southwest of Green Bay. You see it there, toppling those utility lines. It was an EF3 with winds up to 140 miles per hour, nearly a mile wide. It was on the ground for more than 12 miles. Bob Wolfel's wife, Jean, among the survivors. She was inside this silver truck when the tornado tore through, the twister throwing and flipping it roughly 100 yards.
It brought her and rolled her all the way to this far.
Wow.
It's a miracle through God.
Bob says a stranger smashed this window and pulled her out with only minor cuts and bruises.
Happy she survived. So very, very blessed.
Meanwhile, in suburban Chicago, a contractor swept away in an underground storm drain tonight, unaccounted for. Crews now shifting from a rescue to a recovery mission. The second contractor initially trapped, rescued and taken to the hospital.
And with that, Maggie Vespa joins us now live from Wisconsin, and we can see that tornado damage everywhere you look. And the threat from that system that caused the damage is far from over tonight?
Yeah, Tom, that's right. The same system that caused all of this destruction now sparking thunderstorm watches from the mid-Atlantic up through the East Coast, even a tornado watch, and tens of millions facing that flood threat. Tom?
Maggie Vespa for us tonight. Maggie, we thank you for that. We are getting our first look at the damage from a deadly earthquake in Japan. Dozens injured, hundreds of thousands of people forced to evacuate, and now the race to save dozens trapped inside of a mall. Matt Bradley has the latest.
Dangerous tremors shaking buildings and panicking shoppers in a frightening moment of chaos. One man shouting, my foot, it's trapped," when a 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck the southern Japanese island of Kyushu, injuring dozens and causing extensive damage across the island, forcing hundreds of thousands of people to evacuate, wrecking homes and buckling highways, even breaking this bridge, part of the 400-year-old Kumamoto castle, crumbling. One witness describing how. "It didn't fall down piece by piece," he said. "It came crashing down all at once." This footage appears to show the moment of a blast at a shopping center, part of the building collapsing. Local fire officials say an explosion had been heard and an unknown number of people were trapped inside. At least 4 people were taken to the hospital as authorities now race to rescue more. Police told Japanese media that multiple people had died and some 20 to 30 mall employees cannot be reached. Several people are also unaccounted for at a paper factory. Video from a local news service shows the devastation. "Saving lives is the government's top priority," said Japan's cabinet secretary. Earthquakes here are often followed by violent aftershocks. As tonight, authorities alert the public to remain vigilant. Matt Bradley, NBC News.
And we're following developing news back at home as well. A close call that set off alarms over the world's busiest airport. A Delta flight was taking off from Atlanta when it crossed in front of an arriving Delta flight. That plane was completing a go-around because of a third aircraft was slow to exit a runway below. On air traffic control audio, you can hear one of the pilots shout, "My goodness." The close encounter set off onboard alerts, and the FAA is now investigating. In Washington, President Trump giving an emotional tribute at the funeral for Senator Lindsey Graham, as we're learning new details about the president's closed-door meetings today with the leaders of Ukraine and Israel. Garrett Haake is at the White House.
Before pews packed with lawmakers and foreign leaders,
he was a force of nature, and I will miss him greatly.
President Trump honoring the late Senator Lindsey Graham.
He was a man who gave America the full measure of his good and mighty heart until that heart itself just gave out.
And joking about Graham's penchant for pushing to use American power around the globe.
He never saw a war that he didn't like. Only his true friends would understand that, but he wanted it for the good of our country. He felt in his bones that our destiny is to win.
Among those true friends, Ukraine's President Zelensky and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Graham strongly supported them, and both were here today. After separate meetings with the president, Netanyahu saying they discussed their shared goal to ensure Iran will not have nuclear weapons. Today, as the war the president had predicted would last 4 to 6 weeks enters its 6th month, the president optimistic, with oil prices plummeting to around $80 a barrel.
This is going to be better. As soon as this little situation gets worked out, I believe it's going to be better. It already is better. We have an amazing economy, and frankly, when this gets done, there'll be nothing to compete.
While Zelensky followed his meeting here with a visit to Capitol Hill to push for new Russia sanctions, legislation now named after Senator Graham. Tom?
Garrett, thank you. Here in Europe, thousands more evacuating those historic wildfires in France, Spain, and in Italy. Firefighters in an all-out battle to stop them, and the weather is not helping. Ralph Sanchez is near the front lines in France.
Tonight, relentless walls of flame raging across Europe as fire crews and military personnel battle historic blazes in France, Spain, and Italy. More than 360,000 residents and tourists have now been evacuated. One of the fiercest battles being fought in France's iconic Bordeaux wine region. The view from the front line captured on this French firefighter's body camera as their team confronts a blaze on a country road.
It's very difficult for the firemen to fight the fire.
France for the first time facing so-called fire clouds, pillars of smoke and flame so big they can generate their own lightning. France's President Macron on Monday calling the fires the worst situation they've had to deal with since World War II. While Spain confronts the largest wildfire in its history after separate fires merged into a monster blaze west of Madrid. Italy also now battling fires of their own. At this popular beach resort, aircraft flying perilously low before dipping into the sea to gather salt water to douse the flames, as Europe braces for more to come.
Raph Sanchez joins us now live from Bordeaux, France. And Raph, there were more evacuations where you are today, including tourists being told to leave?
Yeah, Tom, another 4,000 people ordered to evacuate from tourist sites along France's Atlantic coast today. Some of them are spending the night in an emergency shelter here, and in this tent, they're getting the really basic supplies like diapers and bottled water, which families so desperately need right now. Tom.
Raph Sanchez for us. Raph, thank you. And we're here in Rome ahead of Pope Leo's concert for peace tomorrow. I'll get a chance to speak with the first American pope after that. He's now just over a year into his papacy, one that is embracing the past as it faces the future. White smoke from the Sistine Chapel, and a choice no conclave has ever made. For the first time, an American would lead the Catholic Church. Hovering over St. Peter's Square, the world met Cardinal Robert Prevost and would come to call him Pope Leo XIV.
I know I can rely on each and every one of you to walk with me.
Leo, after the 13th, the Pope who took on the Industrial Revolution. This Leo believes we're living through another one.
Let's not fear artificial intelligence, but constantly keep the question of the human in play.
His first encyclical, a teaching letter to the church, devoted entirely to AI. But technology is only part of his message. Leo, like Francis before him, has emerged as one of the world's most vocal advocates for migrants. As America turned 250, he spoke of the United States as a nation built by immigrants.
As the country opened its doors to successive waves of immigrants, enabling them and their children to play their part.
And the American Pope, unafraid to take on the American president.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel.
How would you describe the first American Pope's relationship with the American president?
It's of course been tense. The Pope has been very clear that he is not trying to be intentionally adversarial, but he is going to stand up for what the church believes.
All while maintaining his all-American roots and that Chicago pride. Pope Leo embracing the role of peacemaker in a world facing multiple wars.
Almost every single day, this is his insistent message: peace, peace, peace.
And now, that message taking center stage. And tomorrow, Pope Leo opens his summer retreat for a very special occasion. The backdrop, these gardens, which have hosted pontiffs for centuries. And at the top of a hill, this stage is being built for a choir of more than 160 children from war-torn areas all over the globe. They'll sing with tenor Andrea Bocelli. The Pope is calling it a concert for peace. Bocelli will sing with children from places marred by tragedy, the Holy Land, Uganda, and parts of Italy. As year 2 tests whether Pope Leo's bridge building can reach a divided church and a polarized world. And you can watch that concert tomorrow right here on NBC, and we'll have my visit with the Pope here on Nightly News. Still ahead tonight here from the Vatican. If you've ever wondered where a Pope vacations, tonight we'll take you inside his private estate and the site of his historic concert for peace. Plus the sentencing today for a school shooter after an emotional court hearing. And the search for a missing American on vacation. The last known video of her just in tonight will show you it. We're back in a moment, live from the Vatican on Nightly News. We're back now with the new video in the search for an American woman who has gone missing in the Caribbean. Her family pleading for help in finding her. Jesse Kirsch now with that new footage.
Tonight, our first look at Liz Waddell in Grenada right before she vanished. The 43-year-old American's family releasing this surveillance footage, saying it shows Waddell at her Caribbean Airbnb last Wednesday. Watch the North Carolina mother walk near the shoreline around 11:44 a.m. She heads toward the jetty, splashing into the water at 11:47 a.m. At 11:50, a small boat floats by. Soon after, Waddell's family says you can see her friend adjust a beach chair before roughly 10 minutes pass, and on the other side of the screen, Waddell starts swimming away through the bay's roughly 5-foot deep water. Island police say there's no video showing Waddell returning to land.
We remain hopeful, very hopeful, that she is somewhere on the island, alive and safe.
I'm Liz Waddell.
Waddell, who posts on social media about her physical therapy work, is described as 5 feet tall with a medium build. Police say she'd been on the island almost 2 weeks when she disappeared.
My wife is a loving, free-spirited person.
Her husband, Kalen, flew to Grenada after she vanished, today writing, he did this swim yesterday. It is easy. There are lots of rocks you can stop at if you need. Waddell's husband adding, I am heartbroken. Please continue to send love. And according to Waddell's husband, she was swimming in blue and white striped shorts and an orange top. He also says she did not have her wallet or her shoes. Tom?
Jesse Kirsch for us tonight. When we return, the video that's hard to believe, the home that crushed a car while it was being transported on the highway, as we return with our special coverage from the Vatican. We're back now with news from Georgia, where 16-year-old Colt Gray, the confessed shooter who killed 4 people at Appalachia High School in 2024, was sentenced to life in prison without parole today. The prosecution painted a picture of a teenager who idolized previous school shooters and set out to gain notoriety through his attacks on his classmates. Also in Georgia, look at this mobile home landing on a car after a giant chain reaction highway crash. The home was being trailered before it toppled onto this car, crushing it. State Patrol says the initial collision set off a series of crashes with 17 vehicles. Officials say 9 people were hospitalized. All right, when we come back, we'll take you from here at the Vatican to the place popes have gone for 400 years to get away from it all. And tonight, they're taking us for a tour. We're back now with a look at the crowds flocking to the Trevi Fountain in Rome. So many summer travelers in the Eternal City tonight. And behind me, St. Peter's Basilica and Square, where the Pope does so much of his important work. But even popes need time off. And tonight we take you into his private vacation retreat he wants the world not only to see, but visit. For 400 years, popes have come here to get away and to reconnect with the outside world. Majestic gardens covering more than 130 acres and views capturing Rome and masterpiece sunsets. Father Manny, this is such a beautiful place. It's majestic. Why does Pope Leo love being here?
I think one of the things is that it allows him a little bit of privacy and respite, the very things that he doesn't have at St. Peter's Square. He's able to come into the beauty of this place and recharge. He loves it.
NBC News given rare access to tour the grounds, called Borgo Laudato Si, the gardens, part of the papal retreat in Castel Gandolfo. Father Manny Durantis is the director.
So now I want to show you this very special place, which is the spiritual heart of Borgo Laudato Si.
Oh, wow. Look at this. We're taken to a remote section hidden among a canopy of trees. This ancient Roman path built more than 1,000 years ago. In the distance, a statue of the Virgin Mary. Father, man, you don't happen to know the last time Pope Leo was here, huh?
Just yesterday.
It's a place where popes have come to pray and make some of their biggest decisions.
And it is here where they come, and in the context of nature to try to hear God's voice, to be led, in order to lead the global church in being that witness to the world.
The papal retreat is a place that popes have also hosted some of the world's biggest leaders. Pope John Paul II meeting with President Bush, Pope Francis meeting with Pope Benedict just after being elected, and Pope Leo bringing Ukraine's president to discuss the war. The gardens opened to the public by Pope Francis, who wanted the world to see and experience what he and those that came before him had witnessed.
This type of beauty is only the result of collaboration between God, nature, and the human mind and the human hand. God, the God that we Christians believe in, chose not to do this by himself. Nature cannot do this by herself, and we can't do this by ourselves.
And we thank Father Manny for that very special tour. That's Nightly News for this Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for Pope Leo's Concert for Peace, which you can only see on NBC and Telemundo. I'll then speak with Pope Leo, now in his second year leading the church, and we'll have that right here on Nightly News. I'm Tom Llamas, reporting tonight from the Vatican. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.